Hello and welcome to this CPD session for parents and how to support your child with, in general, their maths. I know one thing that came out of our survey about homework was what methods do we use in school to teach our children maths. So in this session, I'm going to give you a year 5 stroke year 6 arithmetic paper, and I'm going to go through those methods with you, and hopefully this will help you support your child with their understanding in arithmetic. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing this tab with you, and I'm going to move over and I'm going to share a different tab with you. This is going to be a Microsoft Whiteboard tab that I'm hopefully going to share with you now. Bear with me. Okay, let's just find the one I want. Okay, click on that. Okay, so now you should see a whiteboard shared with you with a graph. I'm just going to clear this off. And I'm now going to import one of our arithmetic quizzes that we do. So I'm just going to copy that, paste it into here. I'm going to start going through some of these questions, and hopefully they'll help you support your child with their learning. Okay. So we'll start with more simple questions, and this is how a year 6 arithmetic paper will work. We start developing them in year 5 for arithmetic, just so they get an understanding of how the questions are laid out and how to answer them as quick as they can. So first of all, let's go for the first question. First one is, let's just bear with me, let's just move this away. Okay, let's rub this little bit of highlighter out. Number 1, we have 1024 take away 100. So to work that one out, dead simple, get it in a column. This is called the column method. 1024 take away 100. Rule it off. And then work it out. 4 take away nothing is 4. 2 take away nothing is 2. 0 take away 1 you can't do. So you need to borrow from the next door, turn that to a 0, and this becomes 10, therefore making it 10 take away 1 is 9. The answer is 924. Number 2, 68 multiplied by 7. Now, I teach my students 2 ways of doing it. We do it the column way, just like this, or you can also do it the Chinese grid way. I find doing the Chinese grid way a bit more effective because sometimes it gets rid of the place value issue and does make things easy. But for this, I'm going to do it the column way. So we do 8 times 7 first. And we do that as 56. Make sure you carry across your 50 to here, your 5. And then we do 6 sevens, which 6 times 7, which is 42. Add the 5, and we get 476, 47. Number 3. It's 2.6, add 0.5. Now, your golden rule of decimals is they are always in a line together, as you can see there. So 2.6, add 0.5. So I get them there, put it in a column. You do 6 add 5, which is 11. Don't forget to put your decimal point in. 2 add nothing is 2. Add 1 more is 3. Your answer is 3.1. Number 4. Number 4 is 15 times 5. Now for this way, I'm going to do it a bit different. I'm going to do it 15 times 5 like this. And making sure I go diagonally through the square. And then what you do is you work out your 5 times 5. And you put your 20 up there, 25. 1 times 5 is 5. And because there's no 10s, you just make sure you put your 0 up there. And then what we're going to do is, this is important, you add up, let's just make sure this highlight is not too thick. You add up the diagonals. So you add up the 5 first, and the 5 and the 2, and then there's obviously nothing there to add up. So I'm going to start with adding 5 on its own and put the 5 down. And then 5 add 2, which is 7. And the answer is 75. Number 5. Something equals 4,792 add 836. Well, with this, it's just reverse. It's trying to confuse children. So all we do simply is just add up those numbers and get them in a column. So 4, 7, 9, 2, add 8, 3, 6. Get it lined up like that. Simply add them up. 2 add 6 is 8. 9 add 3 is 12. Make sure you carry the 1. 7 add 8 is 15. Add 1 more is 16. Make sure you carry the 1 again over to there. 4 add nothing on its own is 4, but you make sure you carry this one on here. And that is 5. So your answer is 5628. Number 6. 378 add 60. So you've got 378. Add 60. Make sure you use a ruler. Rule that off. And then add them up. 8 add nothing is 8. 7 add 6 is 13. So you make sure you carry the 1 across. 3 add nothing is 1. 3 add nothing is nothing. Add 1 more is 4. 438. Now, the next one, I'm going to leave that one, number 7. It's just 5 nines. And I'm going to go on to number 8. Now, you've got number 8 here, this one. You've got your decimals. Now, the golden rule of decimals is they're always in a line. They always line up. So 6.012 added to 0.7. Doesn't matter what those numbers look like in a column. Please make sure that they always line up. That's really important. And once you do that, golden rule of decimals is always a decimal there. And then you just add them up. 2 add nothing is 2. 1 add nothing is 1. 0 add nothing is 7. 6 add nothing is 6. 6.712. Now, I'm going to move on to number 9. Number 9 here. Now, with number 9, we've got 6 times by 3 times by 6. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to work out the first part of this, which is 6 times 3. Now, 6 times 3 is 18. And whatever that number is, we times that by 6. So the way I would do this now is 18 times by 6. Go along there, multiplier there, 6 there, and then split these boxes down the middle like that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is 8 6s, 48. Nice and neat. Really important to make your numbers nice and small so you can add them clearly. 1 times 6 is 6. And then, once again, add up your diagonals. So we put 8. 6 add 4 is 10. Now you carry the 1 across to there, and you just got 1 on your own. Your answer is 108. Number 10. An interesting one. 5 6 take 1/6. Simple as this. If you're adding or subtracting fractions, you make sure the denominator has to be the same as it is. So then you just put your denominator over here there, because it's always out of 6. And then you just do 5 take 1, which is 4/6. Now, 4/6 can also be simplified down as well to 2/3, because half of 4 is 2, half of 6 is 3, and what you do at the bottom, you just do exactly the same to the top. Number 11. 70 times 7. Well, this is all about powers of 10. Now, if you know 7 sevens are 49, and then with the 70 there, you just make it 10 times bigger, so that's 490. Okay. Let's move this page down a bit and move this down here. Number 12. 6 squared, add 7. 6 squared, add 7. First of all, we work out what 6 squared is. Now, 6 squared simply means 6 times by itself, 2 6s, hence being the squared. And 6 squared equals 36. Once you've worked that out, add 7 to it, 36, add 7, and that gives you the answer of 43. Okay. Number 13. 7.56 times 100. 7.56 times 100. Now, there are different ways of showing this. By year 5 and 6, we expect them to have known place value, but the quicker way of doing this for us is look at the 100. It's going to become 100 times bigger. This number is going to become 100 times bigger. Now, I know the decimal place doesn't move, but what we're going to do is it's going to hop forwards a couple of places. It's the quickest way to answer these questions. And when they get to year 6 and they've got arithmetic to answer in 30 minutes, they need to be as quick as they can. So you've got your 7.56 here. It's going to get 100 times bigger. So what we need to do is we need to hop forward 2 places, 2 zeros. So I'm going to go hop once, hop twice. And here's my new number, making sure that old decimal's gone. And our new number is 756 point, or as we say, it's just 756. There we go. Number 14. Oh. 3,980. 3,980. Take 827. Your ruler out. And start working it out. Now, if the number on the top is too small, you have to borrow. So first thing, 0 take away 7, I can't do. Number's too small. So I'm going to cross out the 8, turn it into a 7, put a 1 there. That becomes 10, take away 7, 3, 7 take away 2, 5, 9 take away 8, 1, 3 on its own. Number 15. Number 15 is 1.3 times 1,000. Now, the same as before, we're looking at, if you're multiplying or dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000, it's all about our decimal place hop. It doesn't move, I know, but it's the quickest way to get the question answered. So we've got 1.3. And then what we do is there's now 3 zeros. It's going to be 1,000 times bigger. So we're going to hop forwards. 1, 2, 3. And my new decimal goes there. Really important to set this out, number in each square so it's clear. Got rid of the old decimal. And I always say, what goes under the arches? 0. And there's our new number, 1,300 point, or it's just 1,300. This, I always say, is like an invisible decimal point that sits at the front. Okay, let's move on. Number 16. Now we're going to work with numbers with different denominators. This is when it starts getting confusing for some. We have, oh, no, these are the same. This is fine. 3/10, we've already answered a similar one. Add 4/10. And the denominator stays the same. It's always out of 10. And that equals 7/10. Number 17. Percentages. 25% off 1,400. So the way I work this out is you should know how to find 10%. Now, you know this. Well, you may not, but to find the 10%, what we do is we divide this number by 10. So like I showed you before, invisible decimal point at the front, if we divide by 10, 1, 0, we go back 1. Divide by 10, this number becomes 140. So 10% off 1,400 equals 140. Now we're going to start building it up now. We've worked out 10%. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work out another 10% of 1,400, exactly the same, which is 140. And then finally, we're going to make it up to this 25%. We need to add on another 5%. How do we work that out? Well, half of 10% is 5%, half of 1,400. I mean, we're working out 5% of 1,400. Half of the 10%, 140, is going to be 70. And then all you do is get them in a column and add them up. 0 add 0 add 0 is 0. 4 add 4 is 8. Add 7 more is 15. 1 add 1 is 2. Add 1 more is 3. Your answer to 25% of 1,400 is 350. There are also other ways of working that out, of course. You can half it and half it again. But once the decimals do get a bit more tricky, say they're trying to find 87% or 26%, they need to know how to find those 10%, those 5%, and those 1%. Now, obviously, to find 1%, you don't divide by 10, you divide by 100. Number 18. 1,210 divided by 11. Now, I always say if we are dividing anything, get it in a bus stop. Simple as. And we do it like this. We've got this 11, and we're going to go through each number to see if how many 11s go into each of these. How many 11s go into 1? None. So we carry it across. How many 11s then go into 12? Well, there's 1 11 in 12 and 1 left over. So now, how many 11s are 11? There's 1 and only 1, of course. And then finally, how many 11s are in nothing? There is nothing. Your answer is 110. Number 19. 30,000 add 4,562. I always ask my children to make sure they set everything out just in case they make a mistake. If you set it out, you are more likely to be accurate. So we've got 30,000 and we're going to add 4,562. Rule it off. rule it off, and simply add them up. 0 add 2 is 2. 0 add 6 is 6. 0 add 5 is 5. 0 add 4 is 4 and 3. Nice and simple. 34,562. Okay. Number 20. Put this ruler away. Now, number 20 is 2.15 multiplied by 8. Okay, so I'm going to set this out like this. We're going to do 2.15 multiplied by 8. Now, when you are multiplying decimals, it's really important to make a note of how many decimal places are in on here. So this one is 1, 2. It's in 2 decimal places. We'll keep a note of this and I'll explain later. This one obviously has nothing. It's just the whole number. So then we're just going to go and work this one out now. So first of all, we need to do 5 multiplied by 8. Now 5 eighths are, 5 times 8 is 40. Then once I've done 5 times 8, I'm going to start going across, and now I'm going to do 1 times 8. 1 times 8 is obviously 8. Add 4 more, and you get 12. Don't forget to carry that across. The next one we're going to do is going across. The next one is 2 times 8. Now, 2 times 8 is 16. Add 1 more here is 17. And there's your answer, but we are not finished yet. Now, this number here was to 2 decimal places. And what we need to do is we need to bring the answer in 2 decimal places as well, just like that. So that gives you the answer of 17.2 or 17.20. Number 21, 4,572. 4,572 divided into 6. So once again, get it in a bus stop. Start with 6. And how many 6s are in 4? There are none. So now we're going to work out how many 6s are in 45. This is why times tables are so important. It's at the core of everything to do with maths. So you count your fingers and you count up to find out how many 6s are in 45. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42. So there are 7. And then how many from 42 up to 45? How many left over? 43, 44, 45. There's 3 left over. And now we're going to do how many 6s in 37. Well, if you know 6 times 6 is 36, so it goes into it 6 times with 1 left over. And then finally, how many 6s are in 12? 6, 12, there's 2. That gives you the answer of 762. Let's move on. Bear with me. Number 22. So number 22. Oh, I've not got number 22. I've just gone straight to 23. 23 is another decimal, but it's subtraction this time. So 22.3 take away 6.42. Look how I've set it out. Decimal, doesn't matter what the sum looks like, they always line up. Golden rule of decimals is they always have to line up. Now, obviously, there's nothing up here, so this would be a 0 and a 0 there. And then we start working it out. Make sure your decimal goes down here for the answer. 0 take away 2, I can't do. So I'm going to borrow from my neighbor here, turn that into a 2. That becomes 10. And then you have 10 take away 2 is 8. 2 take away 4. I can't do. So I'm going to borrow from my neighbor, turn that into a 1, and 2 becomes 12. 12 take away 4 is also 8. Next, 1 take away 6. I can't do again. I'm going to cross out my 2, turn it to a 1. That 1 becomes 11. 11 take away 6 is 5. And then finally, 1 take away nothing is 1, and it gives you your answer of 15.88. Number 20, I'm going to leave number 24 because once again, it's just subtraction and it's just about borrowing. But I am going to move on to number 25 as we're now looking into multiplying fractions. So I've got this. I've got 1/3 times 1/5. Now, when you are multiplying or dividing fractions, you simply times tops, times bottoms, and put your answer there. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 5 is 15. Your answer is 1 over 15. Nice and simple, like so. Number 26. 45 multiplied by 19. Now, in order to work this one out, I'm going to show you the column method. I also will do it another way, just to give you an idea of how I show the children in my class. The point is that it doesn't matter how you set it out. If you get the right answer, you get the right answer. So I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this. You've got 45 times by 19 this way. This is what I call the Chinese way. And make sure you do your diagonals, go all the way through, nice and neat. That's really important. Just rub this one out here because there's going to be 2 lines of this. And then we'll work them both out. Now, as I did before, it's really important. First of all, we're going to do 5 9s and 4 9s. So 5 9s is 45. 4 9s is 36. Add 4 more is 40. Now, this time, because I'm not dealing with 5s and dealing with 40s, we need to put what we call a placeholder in, a 0. We have this ready here. I'm just going to rub out this little 4 here so it doesn't confuse us. And we can now begin doing not 5 9s and 4 9s. We're now going to do, so it's not the 4, it's the 10s here. We're now going to do 5 1s and 4 1s. So 5 times 1 first. So I'm just going to highlight this in the different colors. You can sort of see how this is coming together now, hopefully. So this time I'm going to do 5 times 1. And then I'm going to do 4 times 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. And then all we do is we simply add these up together. 5 times nothing is 5. 0 times 5 is 5. And then 4 times 4, add 4 is 8. Okay. And there's your answer to that one. Now let's work it out again on here on this side. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 9, you see how I'm putting it in here, is 45. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 9 is 36. And once again, I'm going to add up the diagonals. And let's hopefully see we get the same sum. Just different methods of doing it. The first one is you put your 5 down. And then you're going to add 6, add 4. It's 10. Add 5 more is 15. 1 add 3 is 4. Add 4 more is 8. Same answer, 855. There's just 2 different methods to working it out. The reason that I do tend to choose this one is because it sort of gets rid of the place value element, and it gets a bit confusing and muddling up here sometimes for the kids. I think this is a better way, but it's personal choice, and we let children choose which method they would like to use. Number 27. 85% of 280. 85% of 280. And I'm going to try and do this a bit quicker this time. I'm going to break 85% down into 10s first. So I'm going to break it down into 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I'm going to break it down into a 5. And simply add them up this way. There are loads of different ways to work out percentages. This is the way I like children to teach them, and I think it's nice and simple. First of all, we know to find 10%, we divide by 10, and divide by 10, we hop back 1, and this becomes 28. So 10% of 280 is 28, another 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 28, and then half of 10% is obviously 14. Now, you can either add these up, or you can simply work them out the side. So you might want to just do 28 lots of 8. Work it out. 8 8s are 64. 2 8s are 16. And you put your 4 down. 6 add 6 is 12. Put your place it, put your 2, 1 up there, and then 1 up 1 is 2. Gives you 224. And then you do 224, and don't forget to add on your 5% here, which is 14. Add them up. 4 add 4 is 8. 2 add 1 is 3. And 2 on its own. Answer is 238. 85% of 280 is 238. Okay, number 28. 28, 9 times 2 wholes. Oh, it's a tricky one. 9 times 2 wholes and 1/4. Once again, another one that can be worked out in loads of different ways. First of all, I've got to turn these into what we call improper fractions, top-heavy fractions. Now, any whole number, if you want to turn any whole number into a fraction, you simply put a 1 at the bottom of it. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to set this up. This is going to be step 1, and here's step 2. Step 2 is 9 turns into 9/1. Put your multiplier in, and then 2 wholes and 1/4. You can write that like this. First of all, I say it's like going up the steps here. So we're going to start by going there, and we're going to go to there. So we do, first of all, we do 4 times 2. We get 4 lots of 2 wholes, 4 times 2, and that's 8. And then we're going to go up this part, and we're going to add another 1, which is 9. So then we've now converted this. 2 wholes and 1/4 is 9, and that doesn't change 9/4. Now we've got all that set out, we can do the rest. And as I told you before, 9 times 9, we just times tops and bottoms with multiplying or dividing fractions. 9 times 9 is 81. 1 times 4 is 4. But it doesn't end there. You've got 81/4. And sometimes you may need to turn that improper fraction back into a mixed number. So in order to do that, we've got to find out how many 4s are in 81. Well, we know how many 4s are in 40. There's 10. So then how many 4s are going to be in 80? There's 20. So the answer is 20, and then we've got 1/4 left over. And then finally, the last question, another 28 for some reason. You've got, let me just bring this up here. We'll set it out here. Oh, number 28 again is 2/3 add 1/4. Now, if you're adding or subtracting fractions, big problem. You need to have the same denominator. You do. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 times 4, because you're always going to times the number that you see there, 3 times 4, which is 12. And then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to do 4 times 3, and that equals 12. Now, the key to this is to remember whatever you do to this bottom number, we times that by 4, we must do to this top number. So if I do 2 times 4 here, that becomes 8. If I've times this by 3, I must do 1 times 3 here. That becomes 3. And now you've got the same denominator. You can put that there, and you can add your tops. 8 add 3 is also 12/12. And if you know 12/12, 12 slices of pizza out of 12 slices of pizza is also 1 whole. A couple of things that I may have not gone through, how to find fractions of amounts. So if you wanted to find out what are 3/4 of, just rub that so you don't see it's part of it. If I want to find out what's 3/4 of, say, 48, I have this little method of mine, and I teach the children in my class that what they must do is they must start here and work their way around. And we start by doing 48 divided by 4. We divide by the bottom, 48 divided by 4. Now, if you know your 12 times table, 4 times 12 is 48. So you know that 48 divided by 4 is 12. And then you times by the top. So you're going to do the 12 multiplied by 3. So if I was to break it down at the side here, we break this down into 48 divided into 4. 4 4s are 1, 4 8s are 2. That's 12. The next step we're going to do is 12 times the top number here. 12 times 3. That's all about knowing your tables again. 12 3s are 36. Okay, I hope that's been of some help today. The reason that we have done this is so that parents can help their children with the arithmetic just a bit more. I'm hoping that's been of use. Thank you.